Okay, Frenchie, when he called me to say he wanted me to come up here this year for the Jack Kerouac Festival. Oh, and I wanted to say earlier, I've been coming to the Jack Kerouac Festival for quite a few years. I used to come before they would recognize me in any way as part of the activities. So I would come to Lowell, and I would book myself into the Wortham Bar or some other joint and do my show. And they just ignored me. So one year I booked myself into an art gallery on the west side of town. I can't call the name of it. But the guy who was the new head of the Kerouac Festival happened to be there and caught my show, and he said, "Man, I like that." I said, "Well, I've been trying to get you to listen to me for about 15 years, motherfucker." So finally they hired me, you know, it was a great feeling. Because I can't tell you how much I worship Jack Kerouac. I'm nothing without Jack Kerouac. And being with Amram, who invented what I do, this is what I do for 60 years now. And they started it. So it's just such a thrill to be with Amram. And I wanted to read you this poem. It's called Ooh Bop Shabam, Amram, Amram. There was this kid growing up on a farm in Pennsylvania who wanted to be a musician and a composer of music, and did so by the age of 11, playing the trumpet, the piano, and the French horn, and writing music of his own every day, instead of playing baseball, say, and going to the movies, or anything but the relentless pursuit of his music and his development as a teenage intellectual and lifelong weirdo who composed thousands of pieces for every conceivable ensemble and could conduct his orchestras as well. A brilliant mastermind of music who was tight with Dizzy Gillespie and Thelonious Monk in the late 1940s. Ran a jam session out of his tiny basement apartment in Washington, D.C. in the early 50s, where Charlie Parker and hundreds of other cats would crowd the room and make their incredible music. And on the bandstands of Harlem and 52nd Street, and wherever the genius cats would gather to pursue their artistic ambitions. Ooh, Bob Shabam, Amram, Amram. Ooh, Bob Shabam, David Amram. And in October of 1957, Amram and Jack Kerouac staged the first jazz and poetry event in New York City, with many more to follow. Plus the Alfred Leslie film, Pull My Daisy, in 1959, shot by Robert Frank, with Kerouac, Allen Ginsberg, Gregory Corso, and Larry Rivers, with music composed by Amram, always on the set, always with his horns in his hands, and a bag full of flutes and exotic percussion instruments, always ready to take the piano or put his French horn to his lips or shake a tail feather, or until everything that can and must be said has been said, and then head back to his desk and his manuscripts and his transcriptions day after day, year after year, now in his 90s and still killing his audiences wherever he goes and he never stops going. He never stops. He goes and goes and goes.